Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan, and oh boy, what a week. Yeah, that was an interesting one, wasn't it, guys? In many ways, glad it's over. The wild card for many people is probably a bit of an L. Didn't really work out too well. Lots to digest, lots to cover from what's happened in the last game week. So we're going to be talking about it today. Not sure what my new rank is. I've definitely taken a red arrow, but I don't think it's too severe. Like, it could have been worse, I think. I'll double check what my rank is right now, but... yeah, about 316k. So I've dropped about 50,000 places. So, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal. I'll make sure that's updated when the game is updated and we do our next video. But, yeah, for now, yeah, 38 points. I think it's going to be a couple more. We're going to get some Tony bonus points, aren't we? 2 bonus for Tony, I think. Should take us up to 40. Yeah, it wasn't the best week. It wasn't the best week for a lot of wildcarders, and it is what it is. Maybe made slightly worse by the fact that I benched McAllister there with 14 points. Solly March not quite doing the business. Maybe went for the wrong midfielder there on the pitch. But at least we got McAllister. At least we have him for next game week at least. But yeah, definitely a game week to forget. And yeah, I just want to talk about it a little bit today, to be honest, and kind of work out how we're going to go moving forward. I'm sure you guys have got some questions as well, some topics you want to talk about. Hopefully we're going to be able to cover some of that. But yeah, in general, the people who didn't wildcard this week have won. They've won game week 26. They just kind of have. We just kind of have to accept that. I think it is not necessarily for everyone. I think, to be fair, my own pre-wildcard team, I think, actually didn't score that many points either. I think I would have scored around 40 points either way. I think my non-wildcard team scored about 45 points. So it's not the biggest loss in the world. And I think the biggest thing we need to take away from this, those of you who did wildcard, I think you've just got to try to remember that you didn't build your wildcard team for one game week only. So you can't really judge a wildcard in one game week only. I know it's very easy to do that, but a free hit is for one game week only. If you play your free hit and get a terrible score and your free hit team scores worse than your team the week before, your normal team, I guess, then yeah, absolutely, you need to be saying, that went wrong. Where did that go wrong? But I think it's difficult to say outright that the wild card has failed until we've seen it for a couple of game weeks. I don't know about you guys, but when you hit the wild card button, did you just build it for game week 26? No. In fact, to be fair, a lot of people probably agreed that you could, and I myself agree with this, you can maybe have afforded to play that wild card in game week 27 instead. That's completely viable as well. So the wild card was never really built for game week 26. It was really built for the period of 27 to 29. That's kind of the real key period. So it's an L. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, wildcard, great success. It wasn't. It really wasn't. So far, no good. But yeah, look, certainly there are a lot of positives to be taken. And those people who are not on a wild card, how are they set up for game week 27? Are they even going to be wildcarding? It seems like a lot less people wildcarded than perhaps we thought they would. I think around in the kind of top million who are, primarily active players, the amount of wildcarders was only around 15%, 20%. That's still quite a lot, but it's not like crazy amounts. So still a lot of people with the wildcard to play, a lot of people who played their wildcard previously. And those of us who did wildcard either in 26 or are wildcarding in 27 are still mostly going to find ourselves with a really nice squad for the next few game weeks. And you can definitely see, if I go on the pick screen team right now, yes, this team didn't really work out very well for game week 26, but you look at it for game week 27 and we've got those double game week players, we've got some decent other players with decent fixtures. It's pretty good. So we really found ourselves in a situation last game week or game week 26, I guess, where things didn't go wrong. I don't think you can blame yourself too much. I definitely would not be kicking yourself too much, really. There was some surprising results. Like, if we have a look through the game week 26 results, for example, Man City winning 2-0. Erling Haaland only got 4 points. That's kind of unexpected. You would have thought he'd maybe get a goal in there. We've got Arsenal 3 goals, not a single attacking contribution from the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Ødegaard, Zinchenko, these kind of players who have been getting like FPL returns. Even Trossard injured in the first half, Nketiah not even playing. So there were some surprises there. Like, if you see Arsenal have scored 3 goals and I'm telling you that there was no Martinelli, no goals, no assists from Martinelli, Saka, and Ødegaard, you're going to come to me and say, that can't be right. That can't be right. Because it's kind of unexpected, a little bit unexpected. So, look, that's fine. Football is a random game. We've got to take these losses on the chin, and this has been the first game week in a long time that really has thrown up so many surprises. Brighton winning 4-0, no contributions from Solly March. March has been involved in so much of the attacking play from Brighton. We can see by his numbers, we can see by his contributions that if anyone is going to get an attacking return in a Brighton game, it's probably going to be Solly March. He is got the highest expected and actual kind of attacking contributions in this team at the moment, and played very well as well. I don't think we need to be worried about March or anything like that. Taking plenty of touches in the opposition area, maybe a little bit unlucky to not get as many points, or the swing to be so harsh compared to the likes of Mitoma and McAllister. I think it was a little bit harsh. You know, these things happen though. Like I say, we've got some other results here. Wolves beating Spurs 1-0, a little bit of a shock result maybe. Does not see Harry Kane on the score sheet there. We've got obviously Leicester with Ward getting a penalty save. Any penalty save is kind of a little bit random. We don't see them very often, do we? And I guess the big one of all of these games was Liverpool 7, Man United 0. And even Jurgen Klopp himself said that this was a freak result, because it is. And look, I'm sure there will be a few people out there who did genuinely believe that Liverpool were going to go and, you know, score all of these goals against Manchester United, completely batter them. But if we're for most of us, if we're going to try and be reasonable here, we've got to say that, all right, even if you thought Liverpool would beat Manchester United, and I don't think that's an unreasonable guess, I don't think anyone really saw the 7-0 coming. Like, surely. Like, I think the bookies' odds for that was something like 200 to 1. So if you stuck a tenner on that one, you would have a cool £2,000 sitting in your bank account right now. But you wouldn't make that bet, would you? And if that game was played again 200 times, or 199 times more, that result is not going to happen again. Based on people who get paid to predict scores, basically. So, yeah, a freak result. I don't think people who sold Salah, who sold Darwin Nunez. I mean, Darwin Nunez has been blanking against some really kind of weaker defences, and then, you know, gets a big, nice haul against one of the informed defences in the league. They're surprises. But this happens in football, and we've got to take that. At the end of the day, what we're doing in FPL is we're not pretending that we know what's going to happen in the future. Nobody really knows, but what we're trying to do is make the best guesses and try and look at what the most likely outcomes are. And the most likely outcome for the Liverpool-Manchester United game was certainly not a 7-0 victory. So we've got to look at our decision at the time, and any of you guys who did sell your Liverpool players, I mean, I only sold Salah, but I'm sure some of you guys felt quite disappointed if you've sold Darwin Nunez, if you sold Cody Gakpo on your wild card, or, you know, even using your transfers. I think selling those players was totally reasonable. There's always a chance, isn't there? But look, to expect something like a swing this large, no, like it wasn't realistic. But hey, football is unrealistic, unpredictable often, and I just think we need to be a little bit easier on ourselves. And I know there'll be a lot of people really disappointed. I know there'll be a lot of people very disappointed in me, maybe because you may feel that I maybe try to encourage the wild card a little bit. I hope I didn't. I did try, you know, in my wild card video that I put out last week, I did really try and really push the point of, look, this is not going to be for everyone. Not everyone is going to need to wild card. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. Look, this is the advantage I feel for the wild card. If you want to go for it, fine. If you don't, look, that's fine too. So yeah, I just think in general we all just got to be a little bit easier on ourselves. These game weeks happen, and I feel like, I hope that the wild card this week, or the wild card previous week, whenever you play a wild card over 26 and 27, can pay off for you, because I really do think it can. There you go. Right, couple of super chats. Let's have a look at these. So Costa said, "Is wild card a good choice now? Not happy with my team for 29." I definitely think if your team is not set up for 27, 28 and 29, yes, we do want to be having to think about wild carding, because we do want to make sure we have, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 players, decent playing players for game week 28, because there are some good fixtures in 28. So we do want a couple of those players from there. We don't want to have too much of a small squad, I guess. Game week 27 as well, we've got 2 teams doubling, Brighton and Brentford, a couple of other teams doubling, Southampton and Crystal Palace, but we don't talk about those. But yeah, certainly Brighton and Brentford, 2 teams in pretty good form right now who are scoring goals, doing the business, and you know, pushing for European places. And it's well worth going for these players. They're very cheap, and they don't rotate really either. So loads to love about them. Absolutely loads to love about them. So yeah, if you don't have those players, if you're not set up for Game Week 28, and also you're not very well set up for Game Week 29, there is definitely cause to wildcard again. But I'll keep saying, and I feel like I arguably have to cover my own back a little bit here by saying it's not for everyone. You don't have to do it. It might be right for you. What I would do in your situation might be different to what you would do in your situation. So I can only give my own opinion on it. Whether that opinion is good or not, that's kind of down to you to decide. And I completely understand if you're not feeling it. I completely understand it. Anyway, let us continue here. So we've got another super chat here from Joe Bones. Hope I'm saying your name right there, Joe. Hey, love the content all the way from Australia. Love it. Good day, mate, to you. I still have all my chips. When's the best time to use them? Okay, so yeah, I would be considering a wild card right now. I'm going to bring up a graphic for you, Joe. You may have seen this on my channel before, but if not, then we'll throw it up here again. So yeah, again, like I was saying in my kind of wildcard strategy last game week, and I feel like the strategy still holds up, even if you didn't wildcard in game week 26. In that strategy video, we did talk about the fact that 26 or 27 were the wildcard weeks. So if you want to go for the strategy laid out in that video, which was basically, it basically amounted to wildcard in 26 or 27. Then you'll be looking to bench boost in 29, and then you'll be looking to free hit finally in game week 32. So yeah, if you find that this game week, if you don't have too many double game week players for 27, I would try, if you have like 3 or 4 Brentford and Brighton players already in your game week 27 squad before a wild card, I don't think you need to even think about doing it. I think you're absolutely fine. Maybe you could even push the wildcard back another week to game week 28. I think that's definitely a possibility for you, because I think that's still very much viable. You could even wildcard in 29 technically if you wanted to. If you're good for 27 and you're good for 28, like if you find you've got 10, 11 players, or can get to 10 or 11 playing players, decent playing players. You know, we're talking about the likes of Harry Kane against Southampton, decent fixture for him there. We've got a couple other guys, like some Arsenal guys against Crystal Palace at home. There are some decent players there that you might already have. So yeah, if for the wild card, you've got to use it at some point. The later you leave it, the less opportunity you have to take advantage of it. And because, you know, you can see on this graphic, there's not too much to worry about later on in the season. The real big gains, the real big swings are going to happen between 27 and 29. And I feel like this is the time to target with our chips. So I would be looking really for a lot of you guys, if you still got your wild card, I would be looking to still play it in 27. I know looking at the game week 26 wild card is probably put a few people off wild carding, of course. But no, definitely, like I said, the wild card was always built for the 27 to 29 period. So yes, we obviously hoped for a little bit more in game week 26, but the key run of fixtures, the key run of game weeks for that wildcard team is 27 to 29. So yeah, you're not too late to really enter into this strategy that has definitely not been written off yet. Definitely not. The strategy, the 26-27 wild card, bench boost 29 and free hit 32 strategy is definitely not dead. It's still very, very much alive, and it still has very, very nice opportunities for that to really pay off for you. I really do strongly believe that. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, that's what I would still be looking to do. In terms of triple captain, I would be looking to play that in game week 34 or 37. Unless you can't bench boost in 29, then maybe there's an opportunity for a triple captain in 29. I still believe I would rather go for a triple captain in 34 or 37, because both of those game weeks, we are expecting to see both Manchester United and Man City get double game weeks in 34 and 37. It's not confirmed yet. Not everything on this graphic is confirmed. Beyond game week 29, we are kind of speculating a little bit, but we can still start to plan for these things. And Haaland, Rashford, both of these players playing for big teams, good informed players, should have fairly nice double game weeks as well in both 34 and 37. Those 4 opportunities really. Rashford 34, Rashford 37, Haaland 34, Haaland 37. Those 4 opportunities really are, there's got to be something there for you. So that's what I would do. I'll be holding off with the triple captain. But yeah, your other chips, I would say maybe sooner rather than later. You could free hit in 29, I guess, maybe. I'm not really sure I completely like that strategy. Black Currant Squash, of course, by the way. Yeah, one of the reasons I don't like that so much is because we want to take the players that we use in 29 forward a little bit further. So, you know, when we're looking at our Brighton players, you know, you want to keep your triple Brighton all the way till the end of the season, potentially. At least keep 2 of them all the way to the end of the season. So it's easier to free hit them out into 32 than it is to free hit them in another game week, you know. Same kind of with Manchester United. We're probably looking at a triple up in Manchester United. Between 28 and 34, you know, we're going to get double game weeks in both of those times. So we're going to want to have a lot of Manchester United players as well. Maybe a couple others there as well that we do want to carry forward, really. So, yeah, definitely don't love the free hit in a double this season. That's not to say that it's not possible. I just haven't really figured out a way that is going to be more impactful than the kind of opportunities that we've kind of already discussed. So yeah, right. So we've got another super chat here from Ali who says, "What do we do with Sanchez?" And I can see you guys in the chat. Yeah, I'm not ignoring you. I was just finishing my previous train of thought. I know you want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this, if I'm honest. All right, okay. So first of all, let's explain the situation. I wonder if we can. Probably can't. I don't know where the quotes are, so I'm not going to throw the quotes on screen, but I will paraphrase for you. So basically, Sanchez didn't play in game week 26, which was a little bit of a surprise for quite a lot of us. We weren't really expecting Sanchez to lose his place. And De Zerbi, the Brighton manager, basically said he thinks that Steele slightly suits what he wants to do a little bit more. And fair enough, Sanchez has not been in the most amazing goalkeeping form this season. We didn't expect him to be dropped over it, but you know, he hasn't been amazing. He hasn't been a world beater, and perhaps Steele is going to come in and do something a little bit better. Now, the difficulty is that I don't think the quotes have been strong enough to suggest that this is a permanent thing. I guess it could be interpreted that way. I don't think I'm really in a position to give you definitive answers here as to whether Sanchez is, you know, gone permanently. In terms of what to do with Sanchez, this is really difficult, and I wish I could give you a straight answer. I really wish I had this all figured out right now. I don't. I'll tell you that there. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't know right now what to do with Sanchez. I can give you a couple of options. I can give you a couple of thoughts and feelings that have been going around in my head ever since we've heard the news, and some of the things how far I've got in terms of trying to work out what to do. This is where we're at. Sanchez. So, the safest thing to do would be to sell Sanchez. I don't think there's too much debate to be had there. Sanchez is now rotation risk. That much is a fact, right? He's a rotation risk. Whether he actually gets rotated or not, whether he actually comes straight back into the team and plays every game for the rest of the season, doesn't change the fact that with the information we have right now, Sanchez is a rotation risk. So therefore, are we going to get a decent double game week out of him in game week 27? Probably not. No, probably not. On the flip side, can we switch him straight to Steele? That would be lovely. Steele is 3.9 million, which makes Steele a steal. But he does still provide that little bit of risk because Sanchez probably widely accepted to be the better of the 2 goalkeepers, whether it's a stylistic choice, whether it's just getting Sanchez out of the team for a couple of games as motivation to say, Sanchez, my friend, you are not nailed in this team. You are not infallible. We can remove you if you need to. Now get your butt into gear. I don't know. I don't know exact management style that De Zerbi is going for. And I think that's the risk with swapping Sanchez for Steele. There is nothing telling me that, we can't see one game from Sanchez, one game from Steele in this double game week. I can see that happening. I can absolutely see that happening. If we get to game week 29, when Brighton also double again, is Sanchez going to be, once again, play one game, not play the other, or does he play neither, or does he play both? It is so up in the air right now. It is so up in the air. It really is a little bit crazy. Now, I am leaning towards Sanchez being out of the team and Steele being in the team. But am I confident about that one? Absolutely not. I'm not. I'm not confident about that one at all. So it's really difficult for me to give you an answer. Sanchez to Steele is an option, but is it any more really of a guarantee of minutes than just keeping Sanchez? Maybe a little bit, but it's certainly not a certainty, is it? Could you just keep Sanchez, play Kepa this game week? I think that's definitely an option. Could you keep Sanchez, just start him this week and see if you've got Kepa on the bench, that's fine. If you don't have a good goalkeeper for game week 27, maybe that changes things a little tiny bit there as well. I don't know, possibly. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the answer is. I would say the safest thing to do, well, I mean, the best thing to do is hope that you never went for Sanchez in the first place, but that's not an option for some of us, certainly not for myself. No, the safe option in many ways would be to just take a hit, remove one of your Brentford defenders, replace them with a Brighton defender, go for Pervis Estupiñán or maybe Lewis Dunk, and swap Sanchez out for David Raya. So, yeah, David Raya comes into your team and you've got that guaranteed goalkeeper double game week. I think that is definitely an option. But am I super confident about that one? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I am. I look at the fixtures for Brighton this game week and Brentford. Is there any guarantee of clean sheets? No, there's never guarantees of clean sheets, of course. So are you helping yourself that much? Is there other transfers we could use maybe instead? I don't know. I'm tempted to just play Kepa. And I think where I'm at this exact moment is that I think I'm going to just keep Sanchez, roll the transfer, stick with the plan, continue to monitor the situation, because I don't mind it so much this game week because Kepa's not a bad fixture. Kepa's not a bad goalkeeper. Leicester is not a bad fixture. And I would be fine if Kepa did come into the team. Brighton don't keep a huge amount of clean sheets anyway. It's more Brentford, really, who are slightly stronger defensively than Brighton. I mean, don't get me wrong. Brighton is still a good defence. But I'm never fully convinced about a Brighton clean sheet. I do often worry about them. So it would be nice to have a Brighton defender going into this double game week. But is it a must-have? I don't know. If I wasn't on a wild card, if I was advising you guys right now, whether you're going to buy a Brighton defender or a Brentford defender, you can only have one. You're just using your free transfers. I'd go for Brentford, right? Do you probably agree with that one? So I don't know. Is it worth a -4? Probably not. I don't think it's worth a -4 for the sake of this game week. When you take maybe 27 and 29 collectively, maybe it is worth a hit potentially. But yeah, right now I'm thinking I'm just going to keep Sanchez, see what happens. Don't know. Yeah, someone in the chat suggested Kepa to Steele. I've seen that kind of touted. I feel like, to be fair, if you're... But what happens if one plays one game and the other plays the other game in a double game week? Then that doesn't really help anything. What happens if you need to bench boost in 27 and you've got two goalkeepers from the same team? You've not really helped yourself much, have you? Maybe there's like other ways of doing it, but I feel like maybe just monitor the situation. If you've got a decent backup goalkeeper, you don't need to worry too much. I mean, by the time we get to game week 29, we could even be a situation where you go for De Gea, for example. I don't hate that. So you just see what happens in game week 27. Don't expect too much if Kepa has to come in for Sanchez or something like that. I think that's I think that's fine. I wouldn't have too much of a problem with that. You'll still have a goalkeeper for 28. If you have a Kepa or if you have a Ward or someone like that, I think that's absolutely fine as well. And if you roll into game week 29 and you're not happy with your Sanchez situation, you've already got another double game week goalkeeper, but you want to have that bench boost goalkeeper, I guess, then why not Sanchez to De Gea in that double game week? Let's have a quick look at some of the other options in that 29, because it could be a case of just waiting until 29 to make that swap. I mean, if Brighton concede in both games, it's not really going to matter anyway. So let's have a look. So in 29, we've got a few double game week goalkeepers. Nick Pope potential there. I mean, look, Nottingham Forest, if we can nail on who's going to be the goalkeeper out of Navas and Henderson, now Henderson's coming back, it's not the worst shout in the world. West Ham, I don't mind that one as well. Potential double game week in 34 for West Ham as well. Yeah, I really feel like a West Ham goalkeeper could be pretty good. If Fabianski's back, then go for him. If it's Areola, maybe him. Yeah, definitely someone in the chat, who is it, said Sanchez to David De Gea blocks up as possible. Sure, yeah, definitely. I think that is something that we need to be considering before just going all in on De Gea, because I think my ideal Man United triple up I'd like to take from 29 onwards would be Rashford, Fernandes and Shaw. I would like to have those three players, to be honest. I feel like 29, I think there's definitely some other goalkeepers you could go for, so you don't even need to think about Brighton, a Brighton goalkeeper going forwards, and it might even leave a door open for you. Like if you go into the period between, I mean, if you look at game week 30 to 32, so after game week 29, we've got Spurs, Chelsea, Man City / no fixture at all in 32. So that little run there, it might actually be okay to leave to just have two Brighton players, and then from 33 onwards, going into 34, potential double there as well. At that point, you've got all your information, you've had a look at what's going on there, and you pick up another Brighton player at that point. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm at right now. Zaid's Petsin in the chat says, Dan, right now it feels like you aren't actually saying what you want in fear of advertising suggesting the wrong thing. Me personally, I don't care if you get something wrong, because I don't just blindly do what you recommend. And I do understand that, and maybe I'm doing that to a degree, but in regards to Sanchez, I genuinely don't know, and I feel like I'm probably not the only person there either. The fact that so many of you guys in the chat have said, what on earth are we doing with Sanchez? There's far more people saying I don't know what to do with Sanchez than there are I have an idea of what to do with Sanchez. And I do have ideas, but I'm just not confident about any of them. Really, I think there's so much potential for anything you do to go wrong. If you keep Sanchez, huge potential to go wrong. If you swap Sanchez for Steele, huge potential for that to go wrong. If you, do take a -4 and swap Sanchez for Raya and one of your Brentford defenders for a Brighton defender. What if you swap out Ethan Pinnock and he gets a goal like he did today? What if you swap out Rico Henry, played very well today, by the way, and he goes on and scores a load of points? Again, you've taken a -4 and you might end up with worse points. There is potential for things to go wrong all the time, and I feel like as FPL managers, our job is to make sure that the least things go wrong as possible. We make Murphy's Law as little of a factor as possible, and we reduce the possibilities for things to go wrong, and we try and increase the possibilities for things to go right. And I'm struggling to find a situation in which we can ensure that with a Sanchez right now. So really, I am super, super envious of those of you guys who just have Raya already, who never went for Sanchez in the first place, because you will not believe the stress you've saved yourself. Really, it's a funny old situation, isn't it? It's a funny old situation. It's been a week. It's been a week, but yeah, there we go. Elliot Wallin wants to tell me I thought Liverpool was a green fixture. Haha. Yeah, it was. Liverpool's still one of the worst defences in the league. Something else I probably want to talk about as well, because I can see a lot of people are going for Liverpool defenders at the moment. I did cover it briefly in my video earlier today, but since in a stream we've got a little bit more time, we can talk in a little bit more detail, and we can have a little bit of back and forth as well. And sometimes you guys will point out things that maybe I haven't thought about, which is always nice to hear what some of you guys think. But let's just show you something. So let's go to teams per appearance, and we're gonna order by XGC. And I want to have a look at this little period. Let's just click on let's just find a Liverpool defender just as an example. Because a lot of people have correctly identified that Liverpool, in their last 5 games, so that's since game week 23 to 26, Liverpool have kept 5 clean sheets in 5. And from that information, it can be very, very easy to say, I think, therefore, Liverpool are going to keep another 5 clean sheets in the next 5 games as well. I'm not quite sure I agree with that. So first of all, let's have a look at the context. And again, I am definitely covering myself with this statement, but yeah, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. And if you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. But this is just my personal interpretation of things. Caveat, small print. But if you look at this period of games where Liverpool have kept the clean sheets, the teams they've played against are teams that don't really generate too many chances and don't have too many goal scorers either, with the perhaps exception of Manchester United. So Everton here, we know Everton kind of don't have any finishers. They're not creating nearly enough. It's been a real stress for Everton in general this season. They don't create chances, so no good. I'm not saying anyone can keep a clean sheet against Everton, but look, it's certainly something that does happen. If you're looking for a clean sheet, it's a good fixture to get one in. Newcastle, remember, got a man sent off in the first half, Nick Pope, their goalkeeper, and they were playing with 10 men for the majority of the game, and they didn't score any goals in that game, but still generated some decent opportunities in that game and looked like scoring. So yes, a clean sheet against Newcastle. Newcastle, to be fair, playing with 10 men, and again, a team that has struggled for goals since since the World Cup break. Newcastle have been struggling a little bit for goals. So again, another team that struggles for goals a little bit. Crystal Palace, a Crystal Palace team who have been arguably one of the worst attacks in the league as well. Playing without Wilfred Zaha, their primary goal threat. So another clean sheet against them. Wolves, we know all about Wolves, how they can't score goals at all. So yeah, there has been 4 fixtures in a row there. Fair enough, Liverpool did keep clean sheets in that. Not taking that away from them. But they were in fixtures where you would expect them to keep clean sheets. Now, Manchester United game is a slightly different one because Manchester United are a good team who we do expect to score goals, and if you keep a clean sheet against them, that's pretty impressive, right? So, yeah, but what I'm trying to say in general, over the last 5 games, yes, Liverpool have kept 5 clean sheets, but that included 4 games against teams that, you hope to keep a clean sheet against, and 1 game which was probably a bit of a freak result, but fair play, but absolutely fair play. So looking at that, let's next have a look at the numbers. So in this period, so since game week 23, did I say it was? So the last 5 games for Liverpool, they still were conceding an average of 1 expected goals per game. So in a time where they conceded 0 goals, they were expected to concede 5 goals. And perhaps if they were playing against teams with more high-quality finishers who are creating higher quality chances, then maybe those 5 expected goals would have been more expected goals, but more importantly, those 5 expected goals may have been converted by slightly better finishers in the opposition teams. And I think that is something to consider when having a look at Liverpool's clean sheets and whether or not we expect them to keep more going forward. Now, another minor point on this one is that game week 27 that we're on right now, they do play Bournemouth, and that is a good opportunity for a clean sheet. So again, I do expect Liverpool have certainly improved defensively. It's difficult to 100% judge it because of the oppositions they've faced, but maybe they proved us wrong against Manchester United, and actually they are a strong defence now. Not quite happy to say that personally, but Bournemouth, again, could get a clean sheet out of that, but you have to look after that. So after that, if we look at the fixtures for Alisson, for example, Bournemouth away, opportunity for a clean sheet, definitely. No fixture in game week 28. Then we have a difficult double game week. Manchester City and Chelsea, both away fixtures. Chelsea, fair enough, struggling to score goals a little bit there as well. But you certainly wouldn't you certainly wouldn't back Liverpool to keep 2 clean sheets in 2 there, would you? You know, the chance of clean sheets are certainly lower there. Arsenal at home then after that. So by bringing in Liverpool defenders, you are potentially stitching yourself for 28, not having enough playing players. For game week 29 to 30, where some real opportunities to score some points, particularly in 29, your Liverpool defenders in general, probably not the best. Maybe Alisson is maybe slightly better than some of the other Liverpool defenders because you expect these teams to at least take shots and you expect Alisson to make some saves in those games. So maybe that could prop you up a little bit. But in general, would I be going for Liverpool defenders now? No. If I already had them, would I be keeping them? Absolutely 100% yes. But would I be keeping them beyond 28? No. I'll be looking to remove them in 28, in fact. So are they worth the 1 week punt? Don't know. Are their ceilings high enough to be worth a 1 week punt? Salah, yeah, maybe. Darwin Nunez, real risk, but hey, maybe. Cody Gakpo, slight rotation risk maybe there, so maybe not. Trent Alexander-Arnold, does he have enough attacking threat? Not really this season, I don't think, to get a mega score in a single game week, maybe. But I just think in general, I'll probably be avoiding... If you don't already have Liverpool players, you could maybe go for Salah. I wouldn't be like going crazy about some of the others. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these super chats. Now we've kind of finished the Liverpool talk because I would like to move on to some other topics as well. Still a few bits and bobs to talk about. All right, so Thrill TV says plans for bench boost in 29 to wildcard in 28 still. I mean, I've already wildcarded. So for me personally, it's an already wildcard and looking to still bench boost in 29. I feel like 29 is still probably one of the strongest bench boost weeks. So yeah, I would still be looking to bench boost in 29 no matter who I was really. Even if you're going to play a wild card in 28 and bench boost 29, I think that's possible, particularly if you've already got your Brentford and Brighton sorted for game week 27. So yeah, that's a possibility. Offer Spill in the super chat here says, wait, wildcard game week 28. Yeah, I think that, like I say, I think that's definitely a possibility. If you've got your Brighton, you've got your Brentford covered, you can definitely wait there. So you're suggesting a wildcard for 28, I think. Maybe? Don't know. Kepa, Trent, Walker, Tarkowski, Salah, Odegaard, Saka, Rashford, Mitoma, Haaland, Darwin, and then the bench with Ward, Nketiah, Cody, Nico. So I'm guessing that's your team right now. Does that need a wild card right now? I mean, I think I would, based on the fact that you only have one double game week player. So I would for 27. So I think I still would wild card that now. Just get those couple of extra doublers for 27. I think, and you can make sure you cover for 28 as well using that wild card. I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be absolutely fine. Victor B says, Dan, only God knows what you're trying to say. Keep contradicting yourself. It makes no sense. What are you on about there? Oh dear, what have I said? Not sure what I have said. That squash ain't good for you. Victor, I'm not sure what I've said that has been contradictory there, but I don't know. I thought I've been fairly forward. I mean, maybe the Sanchez talk was contradictory, but it's because you know, that's kind of the situation I find myself in. I don't know what to do with Sanchez, so maybe that is going to sound a little bit contradictory. I think the Liverpool chat was fairly straightforward, though. And kind of the wildcard copium. Well, I think I was pretty clear on that one as well. But there we go. Yeah, so some people asking me how my KFC was. Really good, by the way. Really good. A few of you must have seen my tweets today. We've had some banger tweets today. I swear, like, when things go wrong, Twitter is so much funnier. There's so much more entertaining and, like... And this is another thing I definitely want to say in this stream, particularly with regards to if things haven't gone right for you this week. There is so many laughs to be had. There really is. I really feel like when things go right, you celebrate. Everything's amazing. Like, yeah, we love FPL. When things go wrong, laugh. Like, it's FPL. It's not going to affect your real life. There are far more important things in real life to be seriously concerned with, I think. You know, I'm not saying, oh, come on, guys, have some perspective. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that FPL is a game. It's not that deep. We're playing FPL for fun primarily. I hope most of you guys are playing FPL for fun. I certainly am, and I am enjoying it. Even though it's been a bit of a tough season, I'm still having fun, and when things go wrong, there are some funny situations. Liverpool winning 9-0, the same game week that everyone removes Liverpool players on their wild card, That is funny. To me, that is funny. Those of you guys who it didn't happen to, I'm sure you understand that it's funny. But even if it did happen to you, sometimes it feels a lot better to just laugh at your own misfortune, because objectively, in a few months' time, when this FPL season is over, you're not going to be looking back at this game week and saying, oh, that was the worst time I had in the entire year. No, you're going to be looking back at that and you're going to be laughing. When you triple captain a player who gets sent off in the first game, like a lot of people did with Dennis last year. Do you guys remember when Emmanuel Dennis, playing for Watford, had a double game week? Everyone brought him in, everyone captained him, and he got sent off in the first game of the double game week. It is very easy for us to say, this is terrible, I can't believe my luck, this is awful. But it is funny. It's funny. Did I say 9-0? 7-0. Yeah, it is funny. Like, come on, guys. Let's have a laugh, you know? Let's have a laugh. I mean, at least that's what I'm doing. I think I think people sometimes say, well, kind of expect you to be upset or want you to be upset, but it's fun. It's funny. It actually is funny. We're going to look back at this and we're going to say this is funny. Trust me. Trust me. We'll be looking back at this and saying it's funny. But it's a disaster. It was a disaster. I'm not denying that. It's just a funny disaster. It's like no one got hurt. You know, I hope no one got hurt. I don't know how strongly some people feel about L's taken in FPL, but hopefully no one got hurt over this game week. But fingers crossed they didn't. May as well have been 9-0. Hey, that's the thing. Nathan Allen says, Dan, thoughts on Sutton United League 2? I don't really have too many thoughts on them. I was meant to go see them, actually, earlier this year, but I can't remember what happened. I think the game got postponed, but I was actually meant to go see them at some point. I can't remember what the situation was. Or was it last year? I don't know. I was meant to go see them at that one point, but that's all I can say. I've never been to see them. I haven't watched... Oh, actually, I have watched one of their games on TV, but I've once when it was on TV. Might have been like a cup final paint trophy or something like that. But there we go. Right. I think that's probably enough talk about last game week, because we can go on and on about it forever, can't we? We could go on and on about it forever. It's not going to change anything, is it? But yeah, look, we move. Positives to be taken are that those of us who wildcarded, we built our wildcard for 27 onwards. We still have got 27 onwards. There's still lots of great things to come, I hope. Fingers crossed. And if they don't, then it just gets funny and we can have a laugh and, oh well, I mean, who cares? Who cares? It's a game. It's a game. We're meant to have fun. Right, let's look forward. I do want to make sure we do have a little bit of chat about Game Week 27, because Game Week 27 is a double game week where we're all absolutely loving Brighton and Brentford players. So first of all, what I want to do, and this is going to cover captaincy a little bit as well, is I want to have a look at the predicted points for Game Week 27. So this is the AI predicted points updated as of today. We have got a few players here showing some pretty nice, tasty predicted points here. Looking pretty good. So we've got Tony, number 1, highest predicted points, 3rd top goal scorer in the league, star striker, penalty extraordinaire, hub of everything that Brentford do, double game week against Southampton and Everton. Hey, that's pretty good. We like Tony. I would be, right now, I'm Captain Tony. I think that's where I'm at. Tony is Tony, it seems like the guy to go for captaincy. I don't think he's the must-have captain. I think there's other options there. Harry Kane's got high predicted points. Nottingham Forest at home. I think he should do pretty well. But yes, certainly Tony is really standing out this game week as the guy to captain. So first, straight off the bat, if you don't have Tony, buy him. I mean, I was looking at the numbers. So around my rank, less than half of the people around my rank owned Tony in 26. So that means there's a lot of you guys out there who don't own Tony, and we can carry on talking forever about, oh, is Tony going to get banned from football? Until he's got a hearing date set, it's not going to happen. Any hearing date that is set is not going to be for at least a month from the point that it is set, really. We're looking at mid to late April at this moment. The longer it goes without him having a FA hearing date, the longer it's going to drag on for. We know that there's also been things muddied with the fact that the hearing information has been leaked and stuff like that, and maybe people are trying to postpone it, keep things going so Tony can play for a little bit longer? I don't know. Who am I to say? But what I can say is that Tony, over the next 3 game weeks, should be available for all 3 game weeks. And that is 5 fixtures in the space of 3 game weeks from the 3rd top goal scorer in the league. Whether you think he's going to get a ban in game week 30 and you have to sell him from there, fine. Doesn't matter. You'll be more than happy to keep him for even 3 game weeks. He's still worth getting in, right? Number 1 captain for this game week actually has a fixture in 28 at home against a Leicester side who continue to disappoint, I suppose. Double game week in 29 as well against Manchester United, who apparently are a 7-0 losing terrible mud team right now. Now, of course, seriously, I do expect Man United to bounce back. But yeah, again, another double game week there. It is a really good 3 game week period, like 3 game week period. So even if we go predicted points, 27 to 29, even that's the only time you want to hold Tony for, over this 3 game week period, Tony is the highest predicted point scorer with 27.1 predicted points in this 3 game week period. Harry Kane, interestingly, again, we're talking about Harry Kane a little bit, is actually predicted 2nd highest points, despite the fact he has no double game week. So that's definitely an interesting one to take note of there. But yeah, again, Tony is, I don't want to say essential, never fully comfortable using the word essential unless we're talking about, you know, an Erling Haaland, a Marcus Rashford, a superstar in great form at any given point. I wouldn't even necessarily say it about either of those 2 players right now, but certainly previously I would use the label essential at the time. But I think in terms of who is the most essential player to have in your FPL team right now, it's Tony. It's Tony, right? How can it not be? How can it not be? Yeah, aside from that, there are a couple of Brighton midfielders. A few of you guys thinking about getting those Brighton midfielders. My opinion has not changed on this one. Actually, not really. I would still say that March and McAllister are above Mitoma. I'm still saying that. I'm sticking with that one. I know that Mitoma outscored March, but my opinion on that one has not changed based on 1 game week. We can have a look at the numbers now quickly, guys. And then we'll have a look at some other players as well. Well, if we go for Brighton, let's have a look over the last, I don't know, how many game weeks? 5 games maybe, something like that. We sort that by expected points over that period. We can see March, number 1, McAllister, number 2. And then Mitoma is actually all the way down here. So if we just check those 3 players, just so you can see where they are on this list of expected points, you can see that Mitoma overperforming with his goals a little bit. He's only really taking 1 shot per game, really. So over a double game week, you're only going to get 2 shots out of him. If you think about it like that, then it's like, do I want that? I don't know. You kind of want a high volume shot kind of player in a double game week, maybe, to see if you can get lucky with all of those shots that they're taking. Unless you think Mitoma is super clinical, I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is. But yeah, even creatively, Mitoma creating 1 key pass per game. So the stats really recently are telling us that March and McAllister are better picks than Mitoma. I'm not, now, please don't confuse that with me saying Mitoma is a bad pick, because I definitely do not think that. I do not think he's a bad pick, but you are going to want me to give a definitive answer. You're going to want to twist me old arm and get me to tell you which is my favourite, which are my 2 favourites. There is my answer, and I think that's backed up by stats as well. I think it's backed up by watching the games as well. I think, you know, when you watch these Brighton games, I do feel like March is the most threatening player on that team. You know, he's on some of those corners. He is constantly finding himself in the box in those dangerous areas. He's been doing really, really, really well. It might not be as flashy as Mitoma, but he has just been a really, really improved player, really. He's been fantastic. McAllister, you have the advantage of his penalties, which we already saw in game week 26. A bit of more of a risky player, high risk, high reward, because you don't know when you're going to get those penalties. Some of those other set pieces for McAllister as well, which is pretty nice. Free kicks, potential goals there. And also, since he's been playing in this attacking midfield position, which I still expect him to continue in, and I think people are maybe more inclined to agree with this one now more than they were before. I know a lot of people were saying before, no, McAllister's going back into CDM. There's no way he stays at Cam. He surely after that performance, you can't keep saying, oh no, Brighton are better with McAllister playing deeper. Who else is going to play there? Sarmiento, maybe Buonanotte. He's 18 years old. Like, how much game time is he realistically going to get in the Premier League when it is crunch time for Brighton? A little bit, of course. But I still feel like we've primarily seen McAllister play in that attacking midfield position. And when he's been doing that, he's been in the box constantly. He's been taking an insane amount of shots. I mean, like four games for McAllister. I believe all 4 of these games he was playing in the attacking midfield position. 15 shots during that time, 11 in the box. Those are for 4 games. Those are really nice numbers. 5 big chances, of course, that does include the penalty. But still, even if you take it to 4, 1 big goal scoring chance per game. I mean, that's pretty nice, right? That is pretty nice. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of creativity there as well. I like these guys. So I would say in the order of who is the best, I would back what the FPL points prediction tool is saying about these Brighton midfielders as well. March number 1, McAllister number 2, Mitoma number 3. If you have all 3 of them, then I guess that could be okay. Would leave you out without any defenders, but I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I don't think you have to have a defender necessarily. I mean, is that an option? Oh, let me have a look. Let me have a quick tinker here. So can I remove Sanchez and like maybe go? How would I do this? Like, like maybe triple up on the attack and go. This is a really random idea, and maybe go for, I don't know, Pope or someone. Go triple Newcastle defense, something like that. Because I'd be more than happy to play Pope against Wolves at home. I don't know what that would mean for my team long term, but is that the worst -4 in the world? Don't know. It's an idea. I'm going to have loads and loads of... by the time I do my team selection video on Thursday, I'm going to have 100 million ideas of what to do. Hopefully we'll start to narrow it down. I'll have a good think about it, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, let's go. Going back to these... Where am I? Predicted players. Yeah, so yeah, it really does look to me like Tony is an absolutely essential player to have. If you can only get 1 Brighton midfielder, go for March. If you can get to 2, go for March and McAllister. If you can go for 3, then, you know, just don't go for Pascal Gross is pretty much the only answer. Go for these 3 guys that you see on screen right now. Mbumo has got high predicted points, but I don't fully back that because I feel like Mbumo doesn't quite match his expected stats a lot of the time. We saw that today. We saw him miss a big chance. He has been known to be not the most clinical finisher in the world, so he can punish you a little bit that way. So wouldn't be super confident about Mbumo, but I definitely recognise his place if you are looking for that forward who is super cheap, really, and you're trying to free up some money for some other moves potentially, then yeah, certainly Mbumo is an option for you. So don't worry about that too much. Salah, he's always going to be good against Bournemouth, right? You can always got to back him against Bournemouth, I guess. Sanchez up here as well, but we know that that's not true anymore. The robots, the AIs need to catch up, guys. I mean, come on. And then we've got like the likes of Rashford, and yeah, coming down here, we're starting to get some other players there as well. So, okay, with that said, let's have a look at some... okay, let's first of all have a look at the Brighton defenders. So, Brighton defenders, over the last 5, we've kind of got Veltman, Estepinian, Dunk. Those are probably the 3 guys you're considering. Veltman is not nailed. And I think that's my biggest issue with him, why I would not be going for him. So maybe he looks like he's going to score the most points, but not nailed. You can see if you go back to however long. Substituted off early in 26. Didn't start in 20. Didn't start in 18. Didn't start in 16. So, yeah, even before that, wasn't nailed on really since De Zerbi's taken over, really. So, yeah, not nailed or guaranteed to start every game. When the fixtures start coming, you know, fast and heavy, 2 double game weeks here we're really looking at, aren't we? 27 and 29. Could be a little bit of rotation there, and Joel Veltman, you would say, would be one of the more rotation risk players in that Brighton roster. So I think that does rule him out, to be honest. Pervis Estepinian, Lewis Dunk, those are your guys. Those are the boys you want. I think I'm leaning towards Estepinian. Slightly better stats there. You can see taking the odd shot on. but a decent amount of creativity. Overperforming on his assists. I don't think like he's clear above Dunk, because I don't think that's the case. I think Lewis Dunk has got a better chance of scoring a goal, but in terms of that, the creativity, Estupiñán has definitely got a little bit of that going on. So yeah, those two guys would be the guys I'd be going for in defence. It's kind of up to you. Estupiñán is probably the better pick with that slight, tiny bit of rotation risk, just a tiny bit over the long term. But yeah, he's a good pick. He's a good pick. So yeah, those are your two guys. Really, wouldn't be looking anywhere outside of those two players really. So yeah, spend that money. Get those guys. In terms of Brentford, and I feel like Brentford are, if you can only go for Brentford players, or you can only go for one player this game week, or only a couple of players this game week, and you have got Brentford slots open in your team, Brentford are the priority team to go for, because they do have that that kind of, well, a fixture in 28, which it really is the difference. Double, no blank, and then another double. It's nice. We know this is nice. So Brentford definitely priority players to bring in. Tony was spoken about. There's no doubt about the fact that he is a fantastic FPL pick. We know Raya in goal is a really good pick as well, that you're definitely going to want to have if you don't already have him, especially if you're a Sanchez owner. You'll be wishing more than ever that you had Raya in goal. But I do want to, and remember guys, this is these numbers don't include today's game, because I don't think we've had enough time for these stats to update. Or have they updated? Maybe they have. I don't know. But we have seen a case where Pinnock and Henry, and you guys may have heard me talk about this pretty much constantly before. I'm known as a... I've been known to be overly critical of me, and the reason I'm overly critical of me is because I genuinely think he is. Even if me was the same price as Henry and Pinnock, I would still be picking Henry and Pinnock over him, because Henry and Pinnock literally just have better numbers. They take more shots. They are more creative. They are just as nailed. Henry in particular, in these away games, is going to be playing as a left wing back. We've seen Brentford playing with a 5 at the back formation in those away games. Both of the double game weeks contain double away fixtures, where Brentford have been good defensively and Henry has been playing slightly more advanced. And we saw Henry do pretty well today as well. It was pretty impressive. So yeah, I don't know for sure whether these numbers have updated or not completely, but even so, if they have, then it puts Henry and Pinnock ahead of me. If they haven't, it's just going to put Henry and Pinnock ahead of me even further, because they are, to me, just better picks. So for me, it's so hard talking about me when you say the word me so often. Me. That's all FPL Mate ever talks about. Me. Yeah, I just Henry and Pinnock all the way. And hopefully, if you watch today's game, you're probably starting to understand why Henry and Pinnock, they're the big dogs. They're the ones. Cheaper, more effective, and just as nailed. There's nothing that can possibly go wrong. Hopefully. So yeah, those are the guys I'll be going for. Those are the guys I have already, and I back it. I'll continue to back that one. So yeah, for the double game week especially, looking good. Looking very, very, very good. So, yeah, there we go. That's Brentford players as well. So, all in all, I think we're pretty much there. I think we're pretty much wrapped up. I don't know what else we need to talk about today. We've spoken about, I think, all of the main topics. If you've got anything else you'd think we'd like to talk about that I haven't mentioned already, any quick fire questions, we'll do 5 minutes of that. So feel free to throw some of that in the chat if you fancy it. And we'll have a look and see if there's any interesting questions or anything going on like that. In terms of my team, early thoughts for double game week is that I'm going to have points on my bench this week. I'm definitely going to have some points on my bench this week. But yeah, something I mentioned in last week's video. If you are if you are wildcarding with a view to bench boost very soon, you're going to be putting good players on your bench. For every week that goes past, between your wildcard that sets up for a bench boost and your bench boost, you are going to have good players on your bench. You want to have good players on your bench, because if you didn't have good players, good point scoring players on your bench, then you wouldn't be in a situation for a bench boost. So it's going to be mentally draining. It already has been for me, leaving McAllister's points on the bench. But the reason I have him is because I want him to score points on my bench boost. So if he wasn't scoring points, I would be far more worried than if he was. It is one of those situations, if you're wildcarded with a view to bench boost, it is important that your bench players are scoring points. And if they're not, you want to be worried and maybe actually think about whether you are even set up for a bench boost in the first place. So, guys, those of you who are wildcarding in 26 or already wildcarded in 26, those of you wildcarding in 27, expect your players to score points on the bench. Expect it and accept it, because the reason they're doing that is because you are well set up for a bench boost. It is something to congratulate yourself on for. You don't say, oh, I've failed. My bench players scored more points than my first team. No, you say, yes, I've got the right bench players who are going to propel me to victory during my bench boost week. Boom, there we go. Maybe even a view to bench boost in game week 27 as well. I know a few people thinking about that. If you want to bench boost this week, I think it's a pretty decent opportunity. Certainly going to be worse opportunities during the season. So let's have a look here. So what to do with Nketiah? I think you can afford to keep him for this game week. And the reason for that is because Trossard is injured. We don't think he's going to be available for game week 27. Possibly back for 28. Wouldn't hold your breath. Gabriel Jesus, not quite ready yet, which is probably going to mean Nketiah comes back into the fold unless, something crazy happens and, Smith Rowe or Reece Nelson maybe gets a game. They certainly wouldn't be buying those players, but you can understand the possibility where they play. So I can foresee a situation where Nketiah potentially gets a game. So I don't think it's a must-sell. If Trossard was available, I would say he was a must-sell. Nketiah is definitely a player that you need to remove soon. So even if you keep him this week, you will be looking to remove him the following game week. If you can make a move to get Nketiah to Tony, like if you haven't got Tony already and you feel like you can take a -4 to get Nketiah and another player to Tony and, McAllister or a March or someone like that, I would be making that -4 for sure. I would be making that -4. I'd be downgrading one of your players and making sure you can upgrade Nketiah to Tony. I would be doing that. So in general, yes, he is probably a sell if you can get him to Tony, even for a hit. If you've already got Tony, you can't really think of anything else to do that you're super keen on. You can maybe hold him for one game week. I don't think you absolutely must sell him, but he's certainly a player that you'd be looking to remove soon. Salah, if you don't have Salah already, you could potentially buy him. If you already have him, definitely keep him. Consider captaining him as well. If you don't have Salah, think about buying him. You'll basically will be hoping that he can make up for the fact that you're buying him and doing well in just one game week only, because you'll probably be then looking to sell Salah in 28. So it would be a one game week punt. Salah is a good enough player in a good enough fixture to be able to repay that 1 week punt. It's not a must do, but it's something that you could take a risk on and go for if you fancy it. Tomosa said, would you sell Ødegaard for Mitoma? I would consider it, yeah. Like I keep saying, I prefer March and McAllister, so it would be more likely that I'd be selling Ødegaard for Mitoma or McAllister. But yeah, I don't mind that. Don't mind that much, to be honest. Ødegaard has not been super amazing, super essential recently. He's done okay, but not really that great. Martin says, who's the best Brighton mid? March. I'll reaffirm that it is March for me. Thoughts on taking Rashford out? I've got a feeling his confidence will go now. I don't think so, no, because he's got a good fixture this week. We've got a Southampton at home game, it's decent, and then we've got a nice double game week. Game week 20. Yeah, after that will be the double game week, won't it? Because he doesn't play in 28. So double game week against Newcastle and Brentford at home. So again, I would be even considering captaining Rashford in that game week, to be honest. I don't think his confidence is suddenly going to take a plummet, given how good he's been just for that one game week. It was a tough game for Manchester United, but I think United will bounce back from that. Regan says, but Sanchez hasn't done bad this season. Very strange. He hasn't done badly, but he hasn't been great, has he? Like, you wouldn't be looking at him and saying he's one of the top goalkeepers of the Premier League this year. He hasn't been, if we're totally honest. Count Sealor says, should I do Saka to Hakpo with free hit 29 in mind? No, I wouldn't. I'd back Saka to score more points than Hakpo this game week. Yeah, I think I'd rather keep Saka and then maybe make a swap in. Like, do you really think Hakpo is guaranteed minutes in 29? By the time we get to that point, are we going to see Jota come back? Are we going to see Firmino come back? Surely he's going to eat into Hakpo's minutes in a double game week. There we go. Is wildcard in game week 29 good if already free hitted? It's good if you've already bench boost. I think that would be more of an important factor. If you've already used your bench boost, then a wild card in 29, I think definitely comes into the play for you. But if not, maybe you really don't want a wild card in 27, fine. Have a look at game week 28 wildcard. Maybe you could set yourself a 29 bench boost. I still would be looking to try and bench boost in 29 if possible. And a wildcard really does help that. Really does help that. What's your X hunger right now from Crash here? It's pretty low. It's like 0.02, I would say. I've eaten a lot today. I've eaten a lot today. Sanchez to Steele sounds like a good move to me. I'm not fully confident. I just don't know that Steele is a permanent replacement for Sanchez. We've only seen one game, so I'm not super confident about that one, which is really frustrating. I wish we were more confident. A couple of people asking when I'm free hitting. Looking to free hit in, I'll just throw this up on screen, in game week 32. So I'm hoping to have a lot of Brighton and Manchester United players by game week 32, and possibly Erling Haaland there as well. You know, he's always there or thereabouts. I'll probably have Kepa still by that point. So these are kind of the teams that will be likely to blank in 32. So Brighton, Chelsea, Man United, and Man City. I want to keep those players from those teams for the long term because those same teams are likely to double in both 34 and 37. So the fact that I want to keep these players long term means that maybe it'll be best for me to free hit them out for one game week only in 32. Also allows me to go back in on Arsenal and Liverpool, because by that point I might be slightly lacking in Arsenal and Liverpool, which allows me to go in on, you know, triple Arsenal against Southampton at home. For Liverpool, I can go triple Liverpool, get Salah in, get Darwin in for a nice one game week punt for him. See what other Liverpool players are saying. You know, go for Trent Alexander-Arnold for one game week. Probably not a player I'd be looking to own long term, but nice player to free hit in against Nottingham Forest. I think this 32 for me personally. If it allows you to keep your Brighton, Chelsea, Man United, and Man City players for the doubles after that, I think 32 is a really nice free hit game week, so would be looking to free hit there. KFC gravy, yay or nay? For me, it's a yay. I'm not sure. I don't know where I stand on KFC gravy. I can't remember the last time I had it because I stopped eating beef like 5 years ago, and I'm not sure if there's beef in KFC gravy. Maybe someone could let me know. I couldn't find any information about it online, which if I can't find information on it, and gravy obviously sometimes has beef stuff in it, yeah, so I don't know if I can have it or not, to be honest. But I've heard very good things, so I'm certainly not going to bash it. How sure is the game week 32 blank? It's pretty sure. Look, nothing's ever guaranteed in FPL, particularly when we're predicting fixtures. But yeah, I would really be expected. I would not plan for Brighton, Chelsea, City, and Man United to have fixtures in that game week, because the chance of them having fixtures in that game week are pretty low. But hey, we said the same thing about certain other teams. FA Cup shock results certainly happen here and there. And then what else we got? A lot of people asking about selling Arsenal players. I have a few Arsenal players. Which players are the best sells and which ones are the worst? I'll be keeping Zinchenko and Saka. I think those guys are absolutely must keeps. I'll be keeping Martinelli right now as well, because I feel like he's going to be pretty good over the next few game weeks. Outside of that, I think they're okay sells. I would maybe keep Gabriel as well. Ben White, I'd be willing to sacrifice for the right player. Ødegaard, I think I'll be willing to sacrifice for the right player as well. In general, I don't think Arsenal players are must sells at all. I think all of them you can make an argument for keeping. If they're your only route to certain other players, the fact that they only have a single game week in 29 certainly aids us in selling them. But is there maybe a way of waiting and selling them in game week 29? I think possibly, just because in 28 we have a nice fixture for Arsenal. We've got Crystal Palace at home in a game week where there's not too many fixtures that look amazing, really. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace is one of them. Maybe Brentford against Leicester is one of them as well. Spurs versus Southampton, I don't know. Newcastle against Forest. But you kind of get what I mean. Like, that is one of the, you would say that Arsenal for Crystal Palace would be one of the highest upside fixtures of the game week, if not the highest upside fixture for the game week. So for game week 27, fair enough, you're probably looking to get Brentford and Brighton, but also you are going to want to have these players for 28. Like, who do you prefer, for example? Like, if you're talking about making that Ødegaard to, I don't know, March, for example, and over the next two game weeks, that would mean playing with less than 11 men in game week 28. Would you rather have let's say Martinelli against Fulham and Crystal Palace, or a March against Leeds and Crystal Palace, probably rather take Martinelli, maybe. Don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess that's more of a question you need to be asking yourself, really, because Brighton midfielders, because we're probably looking at midfielders, right? I feel like an Arsenal defender, if you've got a White or a Gabriel and you wanted to move them to a Brentford defender, I think I think less can go wrong there. I think that's pretty decent. But I would expect Arsenal to be keeping clean sheets against Fulham and Crystal Palace, and even Leeds in 29. So I don't think they're must-sells. I think there are players you could potentially look to sell, as long as you're not stitching yourself for game week 28, because I do like Arsenal players for 28. And it would be nice to be tripled up on Arsenal for game week 28 as well, to be honest. So, yeah. Christian says it's okay to wildcard for 27, knowing that some of the players I bring in will blank in 28. If you've got 10 playing players, or will have 10 playing players by using a transfer in game week 28, whilst using your wildcard in 27, if you get to 10 men by 28, I think that's absolutely fine. I don't think you're going to need necessarily 11 players. If you've got the right 10, I don't think you need 11. As long as you've got the best guys. Triple Arsenal and all that. Newcastle in there. Could be pretty decent. And I think we'll probably leave it there. There are a few other questions, which are, if you guys put those additional questions you have there. Sorry I haven't answered everything, but we are over an hour now. If you wouldn't mind popping those questions in as comments, if you like, and I'll have a look at them and try and answer them in the comment section as well. Equally, any of you guys who are not watching this live, who are watching this as a replay, do feel free to leave a comment. I know there's a lot of questions at the moment. As long as you're not asking me to give you a definitive plan about Sanchez, I don't know what the answer to Robert Sanchez is right now. I wish I did. As long as your question isn't about that, then I'm sure I'll be able to at least attempt an answer for you. But also, maybe some of you guys have got ideas about Sanchez. If you do, then hey, you're going to be really helping me out for sure. But there we go, guys. We're going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out our tier list video that we uploaded earlier today. Buy, sell, keep, avoid coming tomorrow. I'm going to try and squeeze in a wildcard video as well. Not sure when that's going to be. I'll either do that tomorrow or maybe Wednesday, because I know some of you guys will be thinking about the Game Week 27 wildcard. And I guess I'm just going to throw out a wildcard that I think would be best for Game Week 27 onwards. And if you like the look of it, hey, if you don't, then that's absolutely fine as well. And some of you guys, maybe your team will already look exactly like it, and in which case, you don't need to wildcard. So, yeah, we'll do that. And then all the other usual content, and we'll go again for Game Week 27, hopefully with slightly better results. So, yeah, there we go. Appreciate you guys watching. Always an absolute pleasure to stream, even off the back of some less than favourable game weeks. Remember, it's a game. Remember, have fun. If you're not enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back, taking a break. Don't force yourself to constantly consume FPL content, constantly think about it. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back, and it might actually be healthy for you. It might make you a better manager as well. Who knows? So, yeah. Keep on trying to enjoy the game even through the tough times, but good times are ahead, and I truly do believe that. But we're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Appreciate you guys a lot. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.